All right, welcome back to the Are You in the Book podcast. My name is Eric Webenaw, the president of the Baseball Bluebook, and we are excited to have Coach Addison Rouse join us from Saint Xavier University out of Chicago, the south side of Chicago. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing wonderful. We're wrapping up our fall, and the boys are competing in their little World Series this week, and then we move on to the next phase. So it's been a great fall so far. Weather's been great. Can't complain whatsoever.
That's awesome. Well, Coach, I'm excited to get into this, learn a little bit more about you, your program, type of kids that you're looking at. Before we begin, I encourage everyone to subscribe to the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, we love to have subscribers. We love comments. Also, we are on audio, both Apple and Spotify. We're also on iHeartRadio. You can also find us on X, Baseball Bluebook, and download our app for free, Baseball Bluebook app, on both the Google Play and the Apple the store. So, Coach, let's go. Let's get started. Learn a little bit about you. You've gone a number of stops from different places in the country. So why don't you go ahead and do a quick introduction and give us a little background?
Yeah, I'll give you the SparkNote version, Eric. So I started my career as the volunteer student assistant at Brescia University. So I played there. It's NAIA in Kentucky. I finished my career. One of my mentors, and one of my many mentors, I like to say, asked me to join the staff. And fun fact, I was younger than my starting outfield. So my entire outfield was a year older than I was, if not more. And so I was coaching my peers, my friends, and it was a great opportunity for me as I finished my degree. And then before that, I got my first summer gig coaching in a town called Medicine Hat, Alberta. It is an American Legion program in southeast Alberta, Canada. It is my favorite place in the entire planet. It was a great foundation for my career. Tough kids up there. And so it introduced me to this passion I had that said, I want to coach and I want to do this. And it's really cool. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know it's going to be hard, but I'm all in on trying to make this a career. And so after that summer, I got an opportunity to be a graduate assistant at Henderson State. So it's a small Division II program in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Shout out to Cody Hooten, another one of my mentors who led me there. And as I like to say, taught me to be a man. So I grew up there and I learned how to coach college baseball under Henderson State and Cody Hooten in that program. And after 2 years there, I went back to Brescia, my alma mater, to be the recruiting coordinator, head assistant. And I was 26 years old that summer, and I finally got my break. And I say finally, I was still relatively young, and I became a head coach at Eastern Nazarene College in Quincy, Massachusetts, 6 miles south of Fenway Park. And so I was 26. Nice. I was teaching full time, and I was a head baseball coach at the D3 level. I thought I had made it. And so I spent 3 years there. And then the Lord and my career path led me to West Virginia. And that is where I met my wife. I built a program that was coming off a decade of no more than 12 wins in a year. And so we built that thing up, tied a school record, and we went from 7-19 to 26, and then COVID happened. And in the midst of COVID and all the other life things happening, as well as applying for other opportunities, I landed at Saint Xavier University in the south side of Chicago. So it's been an unbelievable journey. Met a lot of great people, a lot of really amazing mentors and talents and experiences and administration and leadership. And here I am, entering year 5 at Saint Xavier. And it has been a wonderful whirlwind that I am blessed to be a part of.
Boy, you went from a lot of God's country to the city life.
Oh, yeah.
But what a change. Alberta, and then obviously up in the Massachusetts area. West Virginia is one of my favorite places. I actually lived in Pittsburgh, Western PA for many, many years, and West Virginia is such a beautiful area. So we're in Chicago, Saint Xavier University. Coach, talk a bit about just kind of you highlighted a few of your mentors. When you also talked about you thought you made it. Talk about some life lessons, because I made it at 26. There's probably a lot of things that then happened that made you go, wait a minute, there's a lot more challenges in life. Coaching is probably a little bit more challenging than what I anticipated. I'd like to just kind of hear your story as far as the ups and downs of coaching, and certainly going through the COVID years, but also making those moves. So many coaches go to so many different types of programs. What a burden it is on the family and moving and all of those things. So talk a bit about that and how you've handled that.
Yeah, I think there's three parts to it, to be honest, three layers in my career. They're very, very easy to identify. So, when I said I'm 26, I'm a head coach, and that's what I wanted to do. It's all, I mean, genuinely, that was my dream, to be a college head baseball coach. I didn't care level, I didn't care location. I would have went to Alaska to be a head college baseball coach. That was my dream. And so when I got there, I'm in Boston. I'm a head coach. I'm from the South. I'm this D2 guy. I'm going to crush it up here. And I will tell you, and this is a shout out to my New England friends, there is nowhere in the country, nowhere, than New England coaches that work. There is nobody that works harder than New England coaches. Those guys are the biggest grinders, the hardest workers, the most diehard baseball dudes I have ever been around in my life. I mean, I thought I'm going to come up there, recruit, I'm going to kill it. And these guys were outworking me. They were having more visits. They were doing it so much better than I was. And I had to learn very quickly how to recruit, and I mean really recruit against, baby Ivy Leagues and schools that look like Hogwarts on the Eastern Seaboard. I mean, we were nothing compared to that. And not to mention those guys were outworking me to begin with. And so I had to learn. And, I have two good buddies, a guy by the name of Eric Sorella. He's at Salve Regina, been to World Series. And my other buddy is Nick Puccio, who's now at Penn State. We were in the same conference. And I just kind of grabbed onto them and figured it out watching those guys build their programs. And so, one, I had to learn how to recruit and how to work and how to sell my brand and be authentic in that and not be like everybody else. And then number two, hey, you're the leader now. You're making the decisions. You're not the fun third base hitting coach. I mean, you are making hard decisions. And, I like to be liked. I like that I want my players to enjoy playing for me, but there's a different layer to that. And so now you're leading, you're making hard decisions. You need to create buy-in. You need to be, again, that word authentic and real with your players. And so that was a step for me, is stepping into that place of authority and accountability and being the one who makes the final decisions in terms of playing time, and the day-to-day was big. And then the last piece, Eric, was, hey, later on in my journey, now I'm in West Virginia and now I have a family. And so I have two step children, and then our daughter's 5. And I went from single 29-year-old head baseball coach to now I got to be a dad and a husband. And so what I've created is, it's a family program. My wife, my daughter, my kids are around, whether that's on the bus, in the dugout, bat boy, bat girl, in the hotel, helping with food. Like, they are ingrained in what we do. And so, one of the hardest things in our culture is, how do you separate family and coaching? Well, no, we ingrain it. It's such a part of our life that my wife has 80 sons. My daughter has 80 brothers. We've created this program where this is who we are and what we are, and that's what we identify with. And obviously, we're bigger than just Saint Xavier baseball, but it's such a big part of our life that if I was going to do this and I was going to be the husband and father I need to be, they are going to be a huge part of our program. And so they've been a huge part. It's a blessing, and it's helped us run the program culturally, the way that I want to do it. And that took time for me to learn and grow, and figure out. But I feel like we do it well, and it's a part of who we are.
I appreciate you sharing that, because I think one of the things that I'd like to talk about now, and I typically do this at the end, but you gave a great segue to it. You're an NAIA program, and bringing that family atmosphere. You mentioned, they have 80. Your wife has 80 kids now, and your kids have siblings. This is a unique part of NAIA and these non, they're not the Power Five type conferences. Talk a bit about the value that offers, and what kids and parents and people that might be, kind of determining where they want to play. Why is that so important for you, and the value that it brings?
Well, I think that, at the core of what we're doing externally, yes, we want to win championships. Yes, we want to dogpile and go to our World Series, which is Lewiston, Idaho, and win and win. I mean, so the goals are similar, just like they are
Yeah.
at Vanderbilt in Texas. We want to win championships, get rings. We want to recruit professional players, and we want to do all those things that are tangible and receive the accolades. But a selling point when I'm recruiting them in front of a parent is, hey, and I'm not saying Texas and obviously Tim Corbin does this, but my point is, it's going to be really personal here, and it's going to be
Yeah.
really, they're not a number, they are a name on our campus, and we are growing you holistically as a man, as a person. And so I'm going to try to create that as a recruiting pitch. Hey, this is a family program, and your son's going to be here, and they're going to get to see me be a husband and a father, and they're going to get to know me on a deeper personal level. And yes, there is business. Yes, there is baseball. Yes, there is championships to be won, but there's going to be a really human element to the day to day that I think can really impact kids and their future. And I think parents love to see that side of it, especially when they're sending a kid to our program, whether that's near or far. It's a big step in their career, and knowing they have a man that values that, I think it goes a long way on our recruiting pitch and what we sell to kids.
100%. And you know what? A majority of the players and the parents that are talking and kind of navigating this part of their life, that's what they're looking for. The game has changed. I mean, you look at the Power 4, 5 conferences; it is now a business, and so these kids that are coming and expecting to come right in there. The transfer portal, right? They're typically guys with the experience. They're coming out. They played 2, 3 years. Now they're coming in here and they're expecting something that is a business. And from the other levels, it gives that, I think, a better opportunity for these other programs to focus on some of the things that we might have focused in years ago. So I'd like you just to talk about the changes, the conversations you're having with parents, um, the expectations that you're hearing. What is kind of always the same, but then there's some things out there that are also dynamically different than what they were just a few years ago.
Yeah, no, that's a great lead up to that, Eric, because I think, here's the deal is you're right. There's a business element. There's money involved that we've never seen before. Scholarship models have changed now. It's really a different animal. And so, listen, we recruit everybody. It doesn't matter, portal, Twitter, JUCO, but here is our foundation. Our foundation is going against the grain. So we believe in the 4-year player. We have a run of 4 straight freshman of the year at Saint Xavier in our program because we are recruiting the high school kid. We are playing the high school kid. We are coaching the high school kid. I believe that building this program from a deep rooted place of these kids are coming, they're children, they're 17, 18 years old. Now they're in my
Yeah.
program for 3, 4, 5 years. I feel like the investment level, care level, buy-in level, it just hits a little different when they're here the whole time. And they transform as a person under our leadership and care. And so that we have gone against the grain. We have gone completely against. Now, listen, I will text you if you're on Twitter. I will reach out to you if I get your information. But our core is our dudes, our 4-year freshman guys. And so we're really bought into that. And, I think that's the difference is a lot of people are chasing transfers. They're throwing a bait into a pond where there's more bait than fish. And I am going against the grain, and we are recruiting a lot of 4-year kids that we believe just are. We believe in that process and that model, and it's been a lot of fun to kind of go be defiant and go against the grain with all those young kids, and it's turned out to be really really beneficial for our program.
I love it. And I think I would imagine it's a little bit more difficult. If you're recruiting talent, but you're recruiting talent as well as development, the potential,
Yeah.
the academic side, finding the right fit. I mean, you're really recruiting someone that's about to make a 40-year commitment, not just a couple year commitment for just baseball. And I would imagine that takes a little bit more effort in qualifying, disqualifying, different questions that you might ask. Talk a bit about the type of player that fits that mold of the 4-year, 5-year committed to this university, creating lifelong relationships, because that's a difference. So go ahead and talk a bit
Yeah.
about that.
So I will tell you, there's two buckets of that. So, and most of us coaches at the small private level are in a very similar bucket. So we do have a developmental program. We do have a JV program. And so, you know, this is what I would tell you is, okay, let's start from the top. We are trying to sell a potential Division I baseball player on the chance to come in and play right away. And so that's kind of been our tactic with the big dog. Hey, you can go to that mid-major program. You may or may not win, and you may or may not get to play right away because they probably brought in a transfer, or maybe they're rebuilding their program. And I'm selling the opportunity. Listen, we're going to give you a great scholarship. It is a great degree, and you're going to play very, very early. We're going to throw you in the fire, big dog. Whether you're ready or not, we're throwing you in. And so we have got some really good players because we've been able to give them a chance to step on a field really early, and that was really important to them. And then the next layer is that developmental bucket is, we're trying to sell a kid on the process of, hey, when you come here, you're not ready yet, and you're going to have to develop, you're going to have to grow, you're going to have to clean some things up in your skill level. But guess what? We have a plan, and we're going to schedule games. We're going to schedule development. We're going to get you in the weight room. We're not just going to have you be a middling player on our roster. There is real value in who you are. You have tools that we believe in. So we've identified tools that we think can translate, and it's our job to create a plan, your job to buy in, and us to work together. And we have done a really good job of being very open and honest with where kids stand. And so I think it's created a high level of retention because those guys that are ready are playing right away, and the guys that aren't ready are understanding there's a system, plan, and process to get there.
That's awesome. No, that's fantastic. One of my perspectives of this whole thing is, the focus and the money at that high level. A lot of people are thinking that it's ruining collegiate sports. I have a different opinion. My opinion is it is making the mid-level, the smaller private schools so much more competitive because the coaches, 20 years ago, anybody was coaching baseball at those smaller schools. Now it's guys that really understand the game. And I think the cool part is NAIA, man, the talent level at the NAIA level. I love what you said. That first bucket was D1 guys. That's D1 quality. These guys are top level players that are coming in and elevating the entire those NAI programs at private schools. Kind of talk about, are you seeing the same thing kind of over your career to see what that level is? Just the what is it doing? The tide raises all levels. I mean, yes. It literally is raising the level and quality of play at all levels.
Listen, I will live on this. I will die, or not live. I will die on this hill. Listen, I think we have a great program, and we've done a tremendous job. And there's a lot of guys that I'm close with that they're doing a great job. They have great players. They run great programs. I will tell you right now, the blue bloods of our level, the Georgia Gwinnett's, shout out the Sheets, the Bill Berry Tennessee Wesleyans, the Shreveports, the Lewis and Clarks, these guys are loaded. We played Sheets' Gwinnett team last year. We didn't see an arm below 88. The shortstop was a Kansas Jayhawk. The top arm was an Ole Miss transfer or Razorback, or
Yep.
whatever he was at, somewhere in the SEC. They are loaded, and it's not just talent. Their culture's good. They're coaching them well. You go play a series against Bill Barry, and you're getting it is not just as they're not. They don't just have a loaded club. They're coached. They're prepared. I mean, these guys are doing things at a really high level, and so shout out to my colleagues because it matters, and they're elevating our level. They are elevating our level. They're making our level better. And they got some really, really good players that they're coaching. And so, again, you're seeing that it's coming. I don't want to use the word coming down because I don't think that we're coming down, but that's the natural progression of these guys are coming from a Power Four program. Some way,
Yep.
somehow, they end up in Lawrenceville, Georgia, or Athens, Tennessee. And guess what? They're having great experiences and they're thriving. And now they're the biggest advocate of who we are.
Love it. No, absolutely. You know what? One of the things I always encourage the parents and players that are listening to this podcast, get out and watch games at all levels. Get on there, find the programs local, the NAIA programs, the JUCO levels, the D3s. You're going to see the level of play, and it's going to blow your mind if you haven't seen it. And I think that part is exciting. Now, here's a prediction I have for you, Coach. You tell me what you think about this. Traditionally, in the baseball world, collegiate baseball world, there's a lot of movement in the coaching. Now we run the Baseball Bluebook. We have to keep everybody updated, and it's typically between 30 and 35% changes every single year. I actually think that's going to change. I think it's going to come down because there's no longer a process in people's head to go, I got to get to that next level, because the level has become so it's elevated everything. An NAIA program, Saint Xavier in Chicago, Illinois, now is all of a sudden viewed as a premier program, and it's because of coaches like you. It's the players that are coming in. Talk a bit about that. I mean, coaches always are moving. They're always looking for that fit, just like players are talking about that fit. So that kind of the transition of the question I want to ask you is, what is your view of this? I mean, is Saint Xavier, in obviously your mind, you're the head coach. What is the outside view of programs, the NAIA programs now? Am I nuts for thinking this? What are your thoughts?
Not at all. First off, I appreciate the recognition, so thank you for that shout out. I don't deserve that, so thank you for saying that. But I think here's what I will tell you, and I am so passionate about this topic because I think what you see and what you hear is it's just NAIA or it's just Division III or it's a small Division II. You don't understand, like you said, until you either watch them play, come get on the campus. And I'm going to brag about our program. Listen, we are flying to Arizona to play Arizona Christian. We are taking a flight. We are running scrimmages right now with a TrackMan unit producing active technology. Our guys are in the weight room with 2 strength coaches and an exercise science collaboration. We're running, we have a brand new turf field. So when you sit there and go, well, the grass is greener, is it? Because we have great resources. It's a really good school. Yeah. I got multiple assistant coaches. I have an awesome facility. I'm in a great city. Why not be where my feet are at? Why not thrive in this environment? Because guess what? I have 4 guys playing summer baseball in the Northwoods League. We've had 3 pros in 4 years. I know some of these other blue bloods have had double-digit pros. We're producing the same output. Now, we're not on the same playing field as a Southeastern Conference program. So I know there's a gap. But I'm saying in terms of quality and in terms of goals, you can achieve them at a small baby NAIA school on the south side of Chicago, just like you can at a school in California or Massachusetts or the middle of West Virginia. If your goals are to win championships, produce men, get guys, careers, et cetera, you can do that where you're at. And I think that's why you're going to see more guys with longer tenured programs where they're staying where they're at. They're building legacies. They're building dynasties are really successful programs because they can achieve those things right where they're at.
That's awesome. It brings up the most important thing for players and parents as they go through this process is finding the right
Yes,
fit.
sir.
And that doesn't you and I talked off camera about the Nymans, Tim Nyman and his sons. Tim talks about fit, and he walks through each component, right? The academics, the campus life, the financials, the baseball program. The dynamics change, right? All of a sudden, each one of these items are as important as the other, and it's finding that right fit. One of the things that I think most people don't understand, there's 1,700 programs in college baseball. That's a whole lot of programs that I guarantee most people have no idea who they are. And I would imagine me down in Missouri asking, do they know who Saint Xavier and University is in Chicago? They would have no idea. They would think it might be it's Xavier in the
Yes.
Atlantic 10. So there's other St. Francis, right? You start mixing some names. So the fit becomes important, Coach. Talk about the fit. And Brad, I want to hear you brag on Saint Xavier University there, Southside Chicago. Not just location, not just your turf field. Man, what are your players saying about this program, and why is this a place that people absolutely need to put on their list?
I like that. You put me on the hot spot. I love that question. I it's easy for me, like you said, it's so easy to go down the rabbit hole of, hey, well, we have a nice field. Hey, you're in a good location. And I think, those are very tangible things and they matter, right? The degree matters, the cost matters, the scholarships matter. But I feel like that's a universal. Those things matter regardless. And I think
Yeah.
the two outliers that we have really stressed, that I have stressed since I've been here, and all my staff has been bought into, is, I want to make this place. This is our Vanderbilt. We want to make it as big as we possibly can make it. And so it wasn't just enough to have a field. Why not? Why not more? Why can't we build a clubhouse? Why can't we have lights? Oh, we have a Rapsodo. That's wonderful. Well, now we got a donation for a track man. We may be in the 1%. We're offering Division I type development. Hey, I did some fundraising and I did the math. It's cheaper for me to fly to Arizona than to charter a bus 10 hours. Let's fly to Arizona. That's an amazing experience. So
Yeah.
we have an rocking. Look, I'm rocking my logo. We got an Under Armour deal. So I am trying to create Saint Xavier to feel like it is the elite of the elite at any level. I want to create, and it's a buzzword, but I want to create that a Division I top experience for our kids right where I'm located. And so that's been a big selling point. And then I go right back to the culture. It's different here. The family that we're creating, the environment and atmosphere that we are articulating, it's different. We are authentic about it. We are all in on it. Like, this isn't for everybody, but it's for the right people. And we will die on that hill. Like, that is who we are. It's a blue collar program. You're going to laugh at this. We want whiskey drinkers, not milk drinkers. We are tough. We are Southside. This is what we are, and it's who we are. We're competitive. We're high energy. It's personality. This is what we are, and we make no mistakes about that. And that's not for everybody. And so, if you want a big time experience, you can get that. And if you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself, then that's who we are.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk about the campus. I mean, you are literally in the city,
Yeah.
But it's a pretty big plot of land. So I would imagine it might feel a little bit outside of the city. It's not truly an urban campus. So talk about that. Just people going, man, Chicago. I'm from Illinois. I'm from Iowa. I'm just naming the states that you're probably recruiting from. Wisconsin. I do live on a dairy farm, right? I love baseball. Why is Chicago? I don't want to go to Chicago. This is a big city, man. It's a little intimidating. Talk a bit about your campus. Some of the things that people that may not ask, the questions and the things that they should think about when they're looking at a city university.
Yeah, we are Chicago address. If you cross the street, going west, you are in a town called Oaklawn, Illinois. So we are in Chicago, but we're right here in this at the very tip of city limits. And so what is amazing about our campus is Chicago is all neighborhoods. So if you're familiar with Chicago, you know Wrigleyville, Navy Pier, the Magnificent Mile, Wicker Park. I'm just throwing out the predominant neighborhoods. We are located in a neighborhood called Mount Greenwood, Chicago. And so Mount Greenwood is per capita the most populated in the city of firefighters, first responders, EMTs. Like it is our own little community within this huge city. And so I have never been anywhere, Eric, where I am 20 minutes from the third largest metropolitan area in the United States, yet I feel like I'm in a small town. On a
Yeah.
nice day, you will see dogs, bikes, kids, strollers, people walking. We are so ingrained in this neighborhood community that like it's a part of who we are. You know, people stop by our games, our practices. I see dogs, I see kids walking to class. We have an active Starbucks on our campus. And so people are in and out and you're seeing familiar faces daily. And so it's really, really special how much our community rallies around the purpose and intent of community. And that is who and what we are at Saint Xavier. And it's really cool to be ingrained in a college, yet feel like you're right entrenched in this awesome community that is so supportive of who we are. And that is Saint Xavier. And if you come, it's the first thing people realize. You have no idea how many people from out of town show up here to visit and go, wow, I was not expecting this. Yep. You got to come here to see it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Coach, that's why we do this. We want to hear the things that you don't necessarily get by reading something, looking at some brochures and just kind of looking it up online. I think the value that it brings to people that may just have written it off and said, you know what, not really interested. Coach, it's been a lot of fun. For more information on Coach Rouse, you can find everything about the program, Saint Xavier University, in the Baseball Bluebook app. We've got all the connections, contact information, the coaches, your assistant coaches are in there as well. Learn a little bit more about the program. This video is going to be there. There's other bio videos, campus tours of what we've got, academic information that you guys might need to look at. We've got it all in the Baseball Bluebook app. Coach, it's been an honor and a privilege to get to know you. And I'm excited about your program and looking forward to keeping in touch and seeing where you go. And man, I hope next year I'm not changing coaches as much. That's been one of the most difficult things as keeping up this directory. I'm hoping in a few years, man, people just embrace where they're at and they go with it. The fits, man, you fit there. You look good there. Saint Xavier is lucky to have you as the head coach. Thank you, sir.
Eric, man, thank you so much for this today. It's been an honor, privilege, and your kind words are definitely, not falling on deaf ears. I appreciate it a lot. So thank you so much for having me and can't wait to stay in touch.
Man, thank you.